From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I'm going to be the host again. It's PittRace review number 4.
We had quite amount of people that came to this event, and rounding everybody up onto one podcast did not prove out to be something good for us. So
too many schedules, too many time zones.
Yes, so we have to break this up, and this was one of the ones that I'm so excited to know about.
Hey,
number 4.
Hey, just a question. Who are you?
I'm Vicki.
Oh, there we go. All right. Who else is hosting?
Bill?
Yes, I know that. I already did that. You.
And this is Brad.
The
Lee.
baby bird.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brad.
Yes, sir.
It began many, many moons ago
Mm-hmm.
when you almost dislocated your neck when I was at the local Verizon store getting my phone fixed, and somebody said something about race cars, and Brad did his best Mr. Fantastic and put his neck like 15 degrees off to the side. What are you talking about over there? And not the best start, but we finally did it. You had your first race.
Yep.
Man, so worth it. So worth it. It's a long, long road and a lot of patience, and you guys have been awesome all along the way. Just a great team to be able to contribute to. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, that wasn't the point. It was supposed to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
If I want you to suck up, I'll tell you. Don't worry. Just
Yeah. Yeah, this is your first true event wheel to wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was it everything you expected?
It was both more than I expected and less than I was worried about.
Good.
That's good. You did excellent. You really did.
It was so good. And I remember doing driver's ed at New Jersey and talking with Bill about one more driver's ed would be a really good idea before going out here. And I know that was before we actually hit the track and race, we had to have at least the one.
Mm-hmm.
A second would have been nice, but I don't know. Just driver's ed. Oh my God, so helpful of just knowing what things to look for and pay attention to that I don't find in sims. I also don't have iRacing, so maybe that would be different, but
a little bit. Would have been better if you had a good coach, instructor. The guy you had sucked.
Yeah, about that. I'll agree with that statement only because my instructor told me to not be such a baby and to actually use the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I'll tell you what, I did this time, but
yes, you did. Brad, I'd like to introduce you to a car that does not have anti-lock brakes car. This is Brad. He's going to abuse you.
Yeah, and abuse did happen.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So I don't think schedules allowed you to have that second HPDE, which was kind of a nice to do, not a you got to do this, because you were doing well at your HPD with us. So you flew out from Denver towards us, landed with the wonderful weather in Pittsburgh area, and how'd that go for you?
It was fantastic, man. I mean, when it's 70 degrees and sunny over here, having the opportunity to go back east and experience 40 degrees and rain that would sometimes be snow. It's
everything you wish it would happen.
It's just a nice reminder of what home is like.
just when you were thinking about moving back here, you come back and get that weather and you're like, nope, not a chance.
Oh man, I do have to say Sunday was beautiful, but
It was.
yeah, that rain was
Oh, it
something.
was brutal. Did you feel the trailer swaying,
Yeah, I went to
or did
bed
you
and
just
the wind
pass
was
out?
screaming around the corners of the trailer.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, that happened first. You could hear the rain, and then I think 3 minutes were up, and I was out.
Yeah. You had a
Hmm.
pretty brutal trip to get out there.
It honestly wasn't too bad. Thankfully, we just flew direct, so it was like 3 hour flight both ways. No layovers, and definitely preferable.
Yeah.
Um, so not a huge chunk of time. It was pretty easy going considering all of my other trips east
Hmm.
have usually almost always had layovers.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had gone to New Hampshire with us earlier when we mispronounced our team name and became Guitar Heroes in Training.
Yeah.
This was your first, I think, real hardcore theming opportunity with us, and you seem to fall right into it.
You know, it's it was a lot to step into the shoes of Maverick, I gotta say. Um, a great honor. Absolutely. A great honor. Um, but man, what like just that whole thing lined up so nicely. I actually one of the guys from work the other day, he was like, you know what, man, you look like if you put one of those like air suits on with those aviator glasses you have, you look like you're out of Top Gun. I'm like, actually, I got a picture for you, bud.
Why, yes, I do.
Now you traveled with your friend Blake.
Yeah,
What's Blake's last name?
Pedasic.
Pedasic.
Yeah,
He was awesome.
he's a riot.
He
There's a
was
reason I've been friends with him for Christ,
he
15 years almost.
he just rolled with all of it. He was just like he was that, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
No issues, no problem. He just rolled with the whole thing and he did so good. I hope
yeah.
we didn't embarrass him too much.
You can't embarrass him, so that's why he's also on board with rolling with whatever.
Yeah, he just looked around and looked like, the
Hmm.
impression he gave off was, yeah, this is normal.
Yeah. So with Blake, I had chose not to race at Pitt, and I chose to hot pit
Mhm.
everything. And Bill did not race either. He was organizer of all, and kept everybody on track and on path, which was excellent. But Blake held his own in the hot pit. I do have
Mhm.
to say, he did really, really well. Um, and of course, hot pits are always a place to start when you're in this, just so you have an idea what you're doing. But it was a pleasure to work with him, and I really hope that he had a nice time when he came.
He had a fantastic time. I've had the pleasure of just listening to him. It's cool, like being all in it and like getting him to come out. But for a couple conversations, I was just kind of present for at least people grilling him on how the whole thing went, and it sounded like he had a pretty awesome time. And it's what that's part of the whole reason why I wanted to bring him out there too. Is like he's a diehard golfer. I've gotten to tag along with him and help him out with a couple of his golf events. And I'm like, hey man, here's something I'm super passionate about. I'd love to get you out. And just kind of spoke to how awesome the whole crowd, the environment, the vibe. It's hard to not have a good time um, at motorsports events. Like just
Hmm.
everybody's awesome.
So has he given up his 7 iron yet, or we still got some work to do?
Uh, he's I don't know. He's been doing that since he was a teenager. So that
Yeah.
might be a tough request, but it doesn't mean the two couldn't go together.
Yeah,
Why does it have to be an or?
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
We we
so
we had bad weather, so we didn't get to do like a track walk or anything. What kind of prep did you do?
Me?
Yeah, it's a tough track
Um,
to prep for because there's not a lot of availability with the systems you have.
yeah, so I've got a set of Corsa and I've got Forza for my sim rig to try to go through. PittRace is not available for either.
Mhm.
So for just like feel and all the weeby windies, I ran a good number of repetitions through VIR. I just kind of like that track layout. Totally
Mhm.
different thing. And then super dorky, but I just pulled up YouTube and took dash cam footage
That's
Oh, that's good.
that's actually
of
a good
different
thing to do.
recordings. And I sat at the wheel and I'm like, all right, this looks like the proper turn-in point. So let me turn the wheel maybe this much. And then it's what's pretty cool is it does kind of help lay out where the turns are. You can't quite gauge where the braking points are.
Mhm.
And elevation is not something
Mm-mm.
dash camera footage can really convey. And I didn't realize it because I can't remember what is it, turn 4, turn 5,
5 and 6.
that big uphill, 5 and 6.
6 is when you're coming uphill.
Yeah, and that thing was just that thing was grunting the whole way up. But yeah, that was a lot of elevation change there. And then that blind right-hander, it's been what, 2 weeks now almost, so
14.
14. You gave me the challenge of figuring out where the turn-in point is, and I don't have a visual cue, but
Mhm.
it's like if you can tap your foot to a song, there's like a tempo
Mhm.
to coming out of that left-hander
Mhm.
in for that,
Ooh.
and you can just kind of time when the turn-in is. And yeah, that elevation you also don't get in the dash camera of what you're watching.
Right.
Definitely, I would say that was my favorite turn out of everything there.
Mhm. So how
I
much of
think
the
is I got,
curb?
huh?
How much of the curb were you taking on the inside?
All of it.
All
All of it.
I will take that and all of that.
It was super cool because it's blind, so I'm just turning the wheel before I know before my eyes are telling me where the turn is.
Mhm.
Almost every time, after the first couple reps at least,
Right.
almost every time I was just like chewing up all of the curb, and if I had the wheel turned too much, oh no, I just have to straighten it out and fully accelerate out of the turn.
Mhm. Well, as a general
Mhm.
rule, when you go to a turn that's blind, the track stays in the same spot it was the last time you were there. So
Usually, yeah.
you can rely on that most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where that tempo was pretty awesome. And it was cool at the banquet too, because talking to a couple of other people, maybe it was their first time. I can't remember who and how many times they had been at this event, but a lot of people were like, that is a sketchy turn. And I'm like, oh, kind of fun.
It is. It is.
Mm.
Yeah, more experience. I would definitely love to see how much more I could get out of turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely I was just being really mindful and precautious of people barreling by me at the end of that long straight. So I was just giving them the inside for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first time on track, first real time wheel to wheel. Your times weren't um super fast in that car, but they weren't that far off. So you did good.
Gotcha.
No, you did really well. It is a lot to absorb when you're out there because there is a lot of cars that are happening at the same time.
Whew.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of watching mirrors. I've never watched my back more than that ever in my life.
And our car, as it appears now, was underpowered, so that did not help either. But we are going to we'll figure that out. So, did you have any goals going in?
Not crash the car.
Oh,
And realistically, I'm pretty happy with how the event went because I don't want to damage the car. That's something you guys put a lot of time and effort into.
Just
And to
Vicki.
not get black.
I don't do shit.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, keeping the car safe and then also not getting black flags because I understand I'm not going to be laying down Mario Andretti times in this car.
mhm.
So the one thing I can try to impact is not getting us penalized at least, so we can maintain more track time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Just
really,
race
other than
clean,
that, race clean,
butts and seats.
and have a blast. And
Go round and
I'm
round.
pretty satisfied.
Did you have any on track partners that you guys kind of were fairly close in speed and you've got to play with, or not yet?
There was, man, I was just so focused on getting by the car that I can't remember exactly what kind of car it was. There was one 80s model something, American, and definitely they gave me no room to work with. They gave me no opportunities to just like let me by, which I wasn't. Everybody's there with different goals and like a different racecraft, I guess I'll say. And in my head, if I let you buy me, I'm not going to be stressing out. I'll put down better times. You'll get by me. You'll get to put down more laps. So there was one car, a couple of times I just couldn't get by, and it was choking me up. And it's like, all right, let's puzzle this. Let's figure out how to do it. And then we were relatively close in speed, but I think exit speed with the Civic was a little bit better maybe. And then I just kind of cheat coded it, and whenever a much faster car would go by, that would kind of lock that one in front of me to one side or the other. And it's like, all right, I can just follow suit. The door's open now.
Right. Well, it sounded like you were having a good time there, though. And there was one car that was frustrating you, but I'm trying to make sure that you realize that that's the fun stuff, is when you're pretty close and it takes you have to earn the pass as opposed to either get zipped by or zip by somebody.
Yeah.
So how nervous were you getting into the car?
I'm not gonna lie, like the whole week in advance, I was just like, I hope I'm prepared. I think I'm prepared. My God, am I ready for this? And definitely, I think I got in after Eric. When he was out there on the track, I was like, oh God, I gotta do this. I was a little bit psyched out.
You're probably exhausted from just working yourself up all week.
Yeah, maybe. But it was just reminding myself that like, yo, I've got a lot of prep into this. So I'm just gonna be watching out for stuff.
Have a
Just
good
don't crash the
time.
car. What can go wrong? And then if it wasn't tires I was burning, it was a clutch out of pit road.
It's okay. More gas is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little less clutch would be better too. But
sometimes.
Yeah, that was so interesting too, because I was coming out and like, all right, it's racing time. I'm so ready for this. And then I go down the hill, round the corner. I'm like there at the blend line, and then it's just boom, 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 boom by me, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this is real.
They didn't let me in.
Yeah. People knew how to carry speed through that first turn, so
A little bit.
it was a lot to take in at very, very first, and then it just quickly shifted to like muscle memories there. I've done a lot of sim racing. It's not the same because like all of that the feel is really why I enjoy it so much. The sim is nice for just like solidifying what it is you're doing, but that the front, the back, the side to side G forces is just awesome.
And maybe the adrenaline.
Yeah,
the adrenaline is another thing.
Underestimated that one.
You got good sleep though.
You did.
Slept like a baby for days.
Race hangover is real. It really is.
Oh yeah. That first day back to work was like, I don't know if I can do this. I have to do this, but I don't know if I can. But I just remember from that event in New Hampshire, 2019 maybe, where like I remember seeing Bill get out of the car, sweat pouring down his face, his eyes are looking around wildly like he's a crazy man. Well, you are, but
normal.
Yeah. And I remember that being like a shocking moment of just like, oh Jesus, this isn't just like getting in a car and just like going for a casual drive. These guys are like really physically taxed here.
Hmm.
And then I remember y'all telling me like, hey, if you start to feel disoriented, da 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 da, and I'm like, nah, nah, nah. And there was a lot of black flag time. There was a lot of standing yellow time, and yeah, after that hour and a half, I'm like, nah, I'd be good for like another hour, definitely a half hour, maybe an hour would be stretching it. Got out of the car feeling springy, lively, sprightly, and like, yeah, I definitely would have been fine. And then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I was like, whoa, I'm done.
Right.
Just hit me like a truck.
Mhm.
God, you just need that a shot of caffeine because the weekend mostly is adrenaline
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and a checklist of stuff you have to complete in order to get that car on track. And it's not till like the end of the weekend when the packing's done and you're driving home or you're on your way home and it's just like, I am so freaking tired. And you're like drooling on a Monday just to try to get through the day.
Yeah, yeah. It's and again, huge thanks to you guys because you're the ones that put in all the legwork on organizing and getting the car ready and making sure everything's packed and available for us out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we really wanted you to come. We
Mhm.
we miss you. We miss you on this side of the U.S.
you guys
You
are a
are
wild time.
you are missed. Just so you know, you are missed.
Mhm.
You guys are great.
I'm
So,
really
go ahead.
no. You go ahead.
So you did HPD. You do a lot of sim racing and driving.
Mhm.
Uh, what was something you learned while you were there, and what's something you need to learn for the next time?
Because there is
Power
going
of
to be a
ABS.
next time.
I learned about the power of ABS and
Mm.
That's a
how
tough one to
significant that
swallow.
is. um, that's a great question. So that's actually kind of one of the conversations Blake and I had when we were sitting the sidelines just watching all the cars go around. Um, is like the element of strategy in an event like this, in how there is an art to how you navigate the track and how you navigate the field and how you let the field by you or around you. And it's like it's only I it's got to be just real world experience and real track time experience that you can really get that.
Mhm.
It's awesome to see cars that are on the same level as what we were driving, but like, man, some of those teams just put up so many laps, and there's a science to an endurance race like this, um, which is super cool. It has me super intrigued uh, to just get into it and do it and figure out like how to hone that craft as opposed to this is just about getting in the car and running laps.
Mhm.
Hmm. That's
So that
called
was
racecraft.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but just man, I learned how hungry I am for track time. my my God, that was a bug that bit me good. I'm already talking to one of the guys from work about pursuing an old E46
Nice.
to get ready for Lemon's track ready.
Hmm.
So if
Scheming
you
right now.
so if you were to guess,
Yeah,
there was 112 entries,
yeah.
and where do you think we were in terms of like lap speed?
Ooh, what a great question.
I can only do best versus best, so it's not not your lap speed, but best lap speed for our car. Just driver variation, stuff like that.
Factoring like the A class and the B classes too.
Everything, yeah.
I don't know. I'd say like out of 112, 77.
We were 77th.
Wait. For real?
For real.
No way.
So
Okay.
since you can't estimate to save your life, you just get the exact number.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it would have been easier to be faster or slower, or was that good for you for first time?
Faster. The reason, not necessarily like jumping all the way up to A, but to be in like B class, I would say, I think would have been a preferred sweet spot, just because it would have been a lot less of giving away positions, which sure, as people come up on me, sure, let them by, keep the car safe and everything. But functionally, that would just be the A cars and some of the Bs. And it would be more of an even exchange as opposed to just waiting for this assault of cars just coming up from behind me. I don't know. It's also nice to start with a slower vehicle as well, because like you can't overdrive the car. And there were 2 occasions in which I overdrove it a little bit and the tail end flipped out.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean that was just a front wheel drive car reminding me of how to drive a front wheel drive car.
Right.
But
Actually,
I mean,
we were 71st. Sorry, I misread.
71st.
You were
Okay.
close.
All right.
Close. Right in there.
Even better though.
Because that's the
I
hard
think
part.
B-class would be cool.
That's the hard part when you're bringing somebody for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's advantages to being a faster car because then you only really have to worry about the windshield. Not a lot of people coming from behind, but then you're driving faster. So technically it's more difficult to do that. And the downside is bigger. So we always have trouble when we're trying to figure out what to do for first timers.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I mean, realistically, that's for fundamentals. If I were in a faster car, I would be more forward looking and less attentive to what's going on behind me, which isn't going to be great. So I would say as a newcomer, I think there's value in being aware of both the flag stations in front of you and traffic behind you.
Right.
Realistically, that's probably a really, really good starting spot.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just walked into my next question. How was flags, and do you see why they're so important? Like from an HPDE perspective, they're kind of like, all right, I'm supposed to watch the flags. I get it, but do you see how in a race that they are that important that you have to not miss them?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't really have any close calls. There was only one instance in which I saw something happen between flag stations where the Cordoba lost a wheel.
Well, we know where it went.
Oh, where did that wheel go?
Very far away.
It's still going.
It might still be going. Those wheels, once they come off, they go quick.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely with just having the heads up, I felt like there were a lot of situations that were more standing yellow than just like a section of the track.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's standing yellow, it's like you can't miss. Like you just can't miss this.
Yeah. Unless you're Lance Stroll, but that's a different story.
Especially, so one thing I was definitely aware of too, where I was like, oh wow, situations in which you become aware of other people who are not aware.
Yes.
Of the other flags and how risky bisky that can be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, felt like visibility was pretty good. I had a pretty fortunate session just because there was nothing in like a questionable area that I couldn't see far off in the distance anyways.
That's good.
I agree, because obviously there are spots that could be like, there's something right here, and
Surprise.
without that flag you would not know.
Yeah, we tried to make it so that your first stint was in one of the more or less lulls of the day, because first stint and last stint of the day tend to get a little aggressive, we'll go with. And I didn't want that for your first time out there. I was toying with the idea of you finishing on Sunday, by the way.
Oh,
which technically you did.
You kind of
I was the last one in the car.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes, that was very surprising what happened to the car. I did
we
not.
It like that the whole weekend?
I don't think it was.
I don't know. I didn't see that coming at all. Because it was a good build.
Yeah, it wasn't that old. I think that was its 6
2.5 races. Yeah.
No, it was more than that.
2.5 weekends.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only because we ran it. It was a fresh build last year, and we had a short year last year.
Yeah, we did 3 races last year. So surprising, but apologize for that. But hopefully you still had a good time with the shortened race. But that's kind of racing. It kind of is what it is.
Yep.
It's a toying cost.
And of course, we're all over social media with
our Instagram game was strong.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, great. we got pulled. We got mentioned on the website for Lemons for our funeral, our military funeral with the duck. Did not see the duck coming at all.
Especially since it was a chicken.
It was a chicken, yeah. The rubber chicken. Taps.
Not many people have played taps on rubber chicken before.
He warmed up a little bit back at the paddock, and I'm like, I don't know about this, but once he was on stage, those notes really came together.
He did so good.
It's one step below the controllability of a kazoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Nailed it.
So second full Lemons race. Any cars stick out? Any themes stick out?
I gotta say the Toy Story car. Can't remember the team name, but that car drove so clean, looked so clean. And I think I saw them in the paddock in prep for our funeral. And it was like, I mean, geez, we did that at 2:00, something like that, 1:30. And they came in for a black flag, and the judges were like, this is your first black flag? Don't do it again. Get out of here. And it's like, damn, the car was clean. They raced really clean. And it was just, they definitely stood out. There was a white S10 that just, the way the exhaust sounded coming out of that was surprising, but damn, it just sounded so good. And it barreled too. That thing moved. I think our partner team there with the snowboard spoiler,
slippery slopers.
Yeah, that was a pretty original design. That car looked cool as hell too.
I mean, they were huffing it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I would say those are a couple of solid cars I saw out there.
Yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad you and Blake had a good time. Blake was a ton of fun. He filled out his shirt quite well.
Oh man, didn't he though?
Indeed,
man.
So
he still has that. He still wears it proudly.
That's we would expect nothing else.
Yeah, I remember when he left the facility. I'm like, I don't think he knows he still has that shirt on.
Oh, he did. He did.
I think he did. I've got great confidence that he did. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. first time really going through BS Tech, and how was that for you?
Let's see.
You drove in,
I did drive in,
and then the mess began.
and I just remember chaos. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I remember the judges like roughly walking around the car. I remember a lot going on. The smoke machines, man, signature.
It was a little denser fog than I thought, but that's okay. It worked.
We made it work. The slow
Mhm.
walk was fantastic from the driver's seat. I got to hand it to y'all.
Yep. That wasn't slow. That was time
Normal.
dilation. Time dilation.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was too much adrenaline for you. Sorry. You just don't realize.
The whole experience through tech, that checks out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've got a traditional good, bad, and the ugly. Good is something that was a highlight for the weekend. Bad is something that was a low light or things we should definitely not do again. And ugly is our excuse for really just for story time. So what do you got?
Captain's log supplemental.
Hey, Jeremy, you know those race cars you're busy building?
Yeah, I do. I
You,
got one that I'm looking at every day.
you know what I don't see you working on?
You don't see me working on the amazing Sentinel system yet.
That's true. It would take all of 10 minutes for you to have one.
And it's very quick and easy to install.
It is. It is. And we could watch you when we are not at the race with you and see how you're doing. And then we can call you up when you get out of the car and tell you everything you did wrong.
And I love that because so many years I've been driving and not been able to see what I'm doing.
I know.
And now we can.
I know. You know what I'd like to do with the video? My most favorite thing is I take the video and I load it on YouTube and then I send it to my coach and say, look at 26 minutes and 17 seconds. Look at this one lap and tell me what I can do better. And every single time, you know what they say?
Everything.
Exactly. Precisely. So with the Sentinel system, you get instantaneous feedback plus useful feedback that unfortunately is accurate for my driving.
I think it's accurate for all of our driving.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep. But you need to get one in your car, sir.
Yes, I do. And with the discount code that you're going to tell everybody, they can save 10% on this awesome system.
Yep. Trouble free. I haven't had an issue getting video every time we've gone out with the Sentinel. It's always worked. Can't say the same for some of the other systems we've tried. So I don't know. It's on the podcast notes down there. Don't do it while you're driving, though. We like to have our listeners live. It's good.
Oh, so many experiences.
You can tell us how great we are. We're fine with that.
No, stop. It's a lot to take in from the weekend because there's so many things going on at one time.
Yeah, and there's no real downtime. It's you're from here to doing this to I'll go watch the cars for 30 minutes. If you want to call that downtime, but it's just great entertainment. Overall, man, I just, controversial opinion here. But where our RV was, if you head towards the exit of the facility, there's a road off to the right just before the pro shop.
That's Spectator Hill.
Spectator Hill, I will tell you, that was just like, wow, for how much of the track you could see everywhere. And it was cold and it was windy, but just like seeing everybody tear it up on track, that was just like a really, really cool period for me of just seeing how people are driving. That's where that strategy element came in that Blake and I had been talking about with how the drivers maneuver around the track to just kind of optimize their performance, really. And then you can just kind of see how people are handling the turns and handle it. Like back to that S10, man, he'd be, I don't know, 110, 120 down into turn 3.
Mhm.
And then just like on the inside, the outside car is braking already. He's still going. And then just like hammering the brakes and like cutting the turn. It's like, damn, these guys are so good. Like
Mhm.
being able to observe that level of skill with all the drivers out there was cool. Super cool.
Okay. What do you think we shouldn't do again, or was a low light? Anything bad besides Friday weather?
And our car blowing up.
That too. Yeah.
So bad, definitely. So I'll dive into a little bit more of what happened with the flat spots and how those got there.
Oh, I thought it was the alignment.
I don't know. Chris had those same spots at the end of the day when we were looking at tires.
Mm-hmm.
They might have been
kind of all the way around though, I think, though, didn't he?
Yeah, his was worn. Ours was special in one spot.
Yeah. I still don't know why it was doing that vibration thing at high speed when I got in the car, but
that's got to be something.
Uh,
You hear that, Eric? He's
no.
blaming
Listen,
you.
I do have to tell you, Brad, like seriously, every new driver or almost every new driver we have flat spots.
Pretty much everyone.
Oh, man. Did the truck have ABS or no?
No.
Occasionally, but nothing you could rely on.
No. Audra flat spotted on that.
No,
Gotcha.
there was a few flat spots on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like deviating here a little bit, the Civic, you really only needed to take that from like 100% all the way up down to like 70%, and I feel like the 70% like range of motion there would be enough to like lock up the tires. And I was really surprised by that, because I mean, maybe that's the benefits of ABS, but with the Mini Cooper and with the E46 in New Jersey, like you could just leg press that brake pedal, and it had that travel, and I don't remember really losing braking pressure in those instances, but this was just a touchier. I don't even want to say touchy. It was just 100% braking was not as far down traveling on that pedal as I expected.
Right.
But yeah, the bad there was just not being familiar with the track and again, so like you come around turn 1, you've got that long straight, that's 2 and 3, or that's
3 is
and
at the top, the left, and 4 is the right.
Yeah. So going through that, I remember from what I was watching from dash cams that I'm like, oh, this is a nice little straightaway where you can actually pick up a little bit of speed.
It
and
is.
That was a bad idea, because really you just got to you could just cruise through there before you start going uphill. And yeah, I wasn't ready for
turn 3.
It was just one turn that caught me off guard. Or
just takes one.
That caught me off guard. Yeah. And it's like, oh shit.
Whoopsie. It happens.
And I got off it pretty quick too. Oh man, that does remind me. There was one red little hatchback that I was behind for a short bit, and I was self-conscious about the locking up the tires, but this one around every turn, like, super cool, because the passenger rear side was actually lifting off the ground, but like I was seeing all of the tires on the car lock up every time, and I'm like, that makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that makes you more uncomfortable when they're behind you.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't have the attention to know exactly what's going on there, though. I'm just trusting they can keep it under control.
Exactly. So, any good stories from the weekend?
And what's your favorite turn on that track?
Oh, definitely the blind downhill.
Okay, 5 and 6. Okay.
Definitely the blind downhill.
Oh no, 14. You mean the onto the back straight?
14, yeah.
14, yeah. All right, that's cool.
So, favorite story I have would be when the Vanagon, right?
Oh, the Vanagon.
When that arrived, and And it's super, super cool that like he was checked out. He's like, nope, we're done. And everybody else was like, I don't care. We're going to pull that in. We're going to get it lifted up. We're going to get it figured out. And just seeing 1, 2, 3 teams like just jump on this car. And it's so awesome because like there's so much experience, like driving experience, yes, but like technical experience as well, and mechanical experience. And just like everybody started going after this car, like how can we improve it? What's the issue? So just like a whole team effort to just help out in this situation that was not ideal at the time. And it's cool to have that kind of thing that draws everybody together. Like, sure, it's in rough shape, but in the spirit of lemons, everybody chipped in and tried to contribute, which was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No black flags. No black flags for you, sir.
No black flags. Not this time. Maybe next time.
That is awesome.
Look at you. Aren't you just studly?
Just out there driving like a grandma. Yeah.
It's all right. Grandma was pretty quick this race. She did okay.
Did you ever get I was actually wondering this earlier this week. What's the Apex Pro? Like, did you have the tracker in the car for that or no?
We had it in there, but we didn't have the data collector. We just had the indicator.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
okay, just curious.
We should have, but we didn't. We got a little behind with a couple things. The car got there and had some issues that we didn't expect, and time just ran over. Even when you have check sheets, so if you don't have time to get to the check sheet, they didn't help you very much.
Still low on the priority list by comparison. So having everything else together.
The Apex Pro isn't going to keep me from racing. The Apex Pro is a nice to have.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. I think, looking back on the weekend, Friday really sucked a lot of the energy out of everybody. We didn't really have our act together for this one as best we could. And I can just imagine how poor it would have been if Vicki and I weren't both not driving, where we would have been. Oof.
Yeah. It was hard to get to this race. We had a lot of conflicting things that were happening at the same time.
This is really cool from my vantage point to see how, like the last time I got to see you guys on track, we were at New Hampshire. We were having power steering issues. You guys were really finding a method and process for how to pack up, how to get everything out there. And it was super, super cool to see you guys. I mean, from my perspective, you had it on lockdown. Like,
it was better.
It was a very well organized and put together arrival to this weekend than what I've seen with you guys in the past. So
yeah, I think we're better. We're still not everything buttoned down, but we're getting there piece by piece, inch by inch. That in training thing's for real.
I don't know if you'll ever have it all buttoned down. I mean, maybe some teams do show up like that, but it's got to be a small number.
Yeah, I don't think it's our number just yet. We're, you always want to get better, even if you're, so haven't had the perfect race.
Racing.
Exactly. Just a little better. Just a little better. So you got plans, sort of, for more of this stupidity?
Oh God, yeah. Any opportunity I can get, yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't scare you away.
Oh
good.
God, no.
No, good.
All right. I just got a little worried once you only got that one stint in. I was feeling pretty bad driving away.
Oh no, that was.
He had a good long stint too.
He did.
Oh man,
like he had lots of laps,
especially for a first stint. That was a little longer than I wanted.
That's long for a first stint, and you did so good. You really did. You held your own out there. We were not even worried.
I think
sorry.
what I kind of saved some energy with. I don't know. We ran like probably 5 laps total on standing yellow, and then we were parked for what felt like 15 15 minutes when we did the double black flags on Pitt or in Pitt Road. So there was some good recharge time to just like calm down, but I kind of took Bill's advice to heart of I didn't necessarily like touch my tongue to the roof of my mouth and like relax my fingers, but at no point was I really like death gripping the steering wheel. I was just like I kept joking, out for a Sunday drive, out for a Saturday drive or whatever. And it's just secure enough. It's like holding a golf club. Don't death grip it. Just like hold it firm enough to not lose it. The one thing that was tough was my left leg. I don't know if it was seat positioning or just my long body, but my left leg was so shot from just keeping myself in position from going around all those right hand turns that I was worked.
The dead pedal is your friend, sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was using it the whole time. I swear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ran most of that track in third gear, every now and then fourth for the straights, but just a lot of cruising in third. So bracing was most of what that leg was doing.
Yeah. So you've driven 2 tracks now in real world.
What do we call it? The meat world?
Meat space.
Meat space.
I've driven 3.
Which
I brought
one?
the truck for practice in New Hampshire. We did
that's true.
New Jersey.
That's true. That's true. So it's not really fair to say which one's your favorite yet, because you've got 2 or 3 tracks, whoopee woo. But
yeah,
can you compare the tracks? Like there's some things that are similar, but then there's other things that are very different.
New Jersey was interesting. I love the bowl. Like the G-force you feel in the bowl on that is super, super cool. Or not New Jersey, sorry, New Hampshire. Jersey was an awesome introductory track of just like not an excessive number of turns to get figured out, but enough elevation changes to keep you on the edge a little bit. But PittRace definitely just like the length of the track, how quickly the whole thing was done. Because I remember my first time around, I'm like, wait a minute, am I on the front stretch already? Which is just when you're watching it, seems to take a lot longer with a much faster car.
It's a long track.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't care. It's just like, what's the next turn? Let's go. How do I set up for it? Let's go. PittRace was awesome, and I might be partial because I had a good chunk of time in the seat for that track. But yeah, I'll tell you what, facilities at PittRace, I have never felt softer paper towels at a public facility ever in my life, period.
PittRace paper towels, highly recommended.
It's a weird thing to recommend.
I'll let Glenn know. I'll let Glenn know that his team puts good paper towels out there.
Yeah, it makes such a difference because the other 2 places we've been have been ice cold showers if they're open.
New Hampshire's got good showers. They're hot. But PittRaces, they have their facility well manicured.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, just like the layout on that track was really, really awesome. The S turns, the slight differences between all the S turns. I was so like dangerously hungry for that second session because I was just thinking all day Saturday after my session of like, how could I approach this turn differently? How can I do this differently? What more can I pull out of the car coming out of this turn? And there was just so much more I wanted to experiment with that definitely I would love to go back having some of that in the holster now.
July?
Oh no, I've made a a grave mistake. I have burned all of my vacation time for the year.
All right. How about October then?
It's still this year.
I'm just trying. It could have been calendar year, could have been fiscal year. You never know.
Yeah. What's going on in July and October?
2 more events at PittRace for us.
Not lemons, are they?
No.
No.
July is a great HPDE that we go to, and
Gotcha.
October is Lucky Dog.
Gotcha.
If you happen to come back out now that you have the one big track under your belt,
Mm-hmm.
should come back out next year, or when you can come out for a July or a June event. And that's the really fun one.
What's
They're
going
all
on
fun.
in June?
It's the New Jersey Lemons race.
Oh, so again,
that
I
one
mix them up
gets
all the time.
Yeah,
That'll be Thunderbolt, correct?
yes.
That would be Thunderbolt. Yeah, you drove Lightning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
So
good
tempting,
one.
so
Whenever you
tempting.
can get back out again.
Yeah.
Whenever
we
you
have
can
room.
get back at, listen, yeah. Whenever you get back out this way again, we have a seat for you.
I appreciate that very much.
That's right. Until you move back here, then you earn your spot.
Mhm.
All right, so
man.
let's see. We got at least 2 more questions. One, when did you feel human again?
Probably I was forced into it. So my first day back was Tuesday, first day back to work, and it's like working in the automotive industry, you just gotta suck it up and figure it out. And I do it because I like people, and there was the psychological recharge of I'm so excited about what happened this weekend. There was definitely the physical drain of like that was hard. I'm still sore. My leg hurts. But yeah, I was pretty well back to human on Tuesday, I would say.
And most of the people at work knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
With Brad involved, I'm sure he shared with everybody.
I keep things closer to the cup than you'd expect, but
yeah, they're going to be posting in-car videos on YouTube. So if you look up PittRace 2024 Lemons, you might see somebody with a camera that was following our car, and determine by the time of day and whether that was you or not.
Yeah, it was super cool. One of the technicians I work with, he was like, "Were you racing in Pittsburgh this weekend?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was." He's like, "Some random guy I follow on Instagram was also in Pittsburgh this weekend." And he like pulled up a picture, and I like zoomed in. He's like, "What were you driving?" And I zoomed in on the picture, and I'm like, "That little brownish gray Honda Civic back there. That's our car."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, no way." It's just the one photo that was posted. So
That's awesome.
really fortunate circumstances.
That's a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
So you only got one stint, but it may still have happened. How was your neck?
Nope, was good. Honestly, I was good.
That second stint. I remember the look you got on your face was like, "Listen, old man, that ain't gonna happen to me."
Nope. It was my left ass cheek and my left leg, and that was
the pain points.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool.
I was worried about my knee. My knee swelled up. I got a bad knee, and it swelled up a couple days before flying out there. I'm like, well, this would not be convenient, but that cleared up right before.
Good. Yeah, the flight doesn't help that either. So
no, not with these long legs.
No. All right. So what do you think, Miss Vicki? Do we have 2 more people who can join the team now? What do you think?
Yeah, well, Brad's always welcome. He's he's a team member at distance.
Absolutely. He's part of the West Coast crew.
In spirit. Yeah.
Exactly. West Coast crew.
Exactly. So how far is High Plains Raceway from you, sir?
I will tell you precisely. Realistically, like 40 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Who do we know out there?
Lots of people. Are.
You know someone. From where I live, I do stand corrected. That is precisely 1 hour and 4 minutes from my house.
Oh,
That's still. I mean,
That's nice.
that's your local track.
That's the close one, especially
You
when you
should
get out
go-
west.
You should take your buds out and then go watch a lemons race.
So Mental is going to be coming out in July,
Uh-huh.
June for an authentic 24-hour race, and
Is he
I want to
judging
try
or
to get
driving?
over there. Driving.
Oh yeah, you should ask him if you could crew.
They won't mind.
Yeah, I got.
They won't mind.
Out. And honestly, I should figure that out sooner than later because April's just about shot, and then that's only 1 month between June.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already met Mental, and if he's doing the 24, they're going to need a crew.
Yeah.
And we can kind of,
the soup, so.
Yeah, we can open a door for you there if you want.
Trust me, there's nobody in Lemons who's when somebody says, "Hey, would you mind if I helped crew for you?" that they're going to say no.
Yep.
Especially for that kind of an event, I imagine that's got to be so much harder.
And you know what? And it's getting your feet wet with something local.
Yeah.
You might bump into some people.
Yeah.
This is a slippery slope, I tell you.
Let me call Audra and let her know.
Is she out here or no?
No, her team is slippery slope.
For that reason, it was a slippery slope from autocross into racing.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to hit them up and line up my scheduling.
Well, I'm just really glad you finally got to do this and you had a good time. That was the important part.
We were really looking forward to you doing this.
Again, you guys are awesome. The people around you are awesome. It's hard not to have a good time. Like the hospitality, I don't even know how you do hospitality away from home, but you nail it.
It's because we lace all the food with drugs. It's fine.
Yes, I knew it.
Yeah.
You actually never got on track, Brad. It's fine. No, don't worry.
Hey, whatever I remember works for me. So
that's right.
It's not time.
Stop talking to the cat during the podcast.
I know. Sorry. she's literally trying to get me to feed her. So
okay. I'm literally trying not to have to edit every single time you do that.
Yeah. Anyway. It's all good. Okay. It's good.
I'm leaving it in then. Fine. All right. Brad, welcome to the team again. Please
welcome to the West Coast Division.
That's right.
The bug has bit.
There's a plan for the West Coast that Miss Vicki is not aware of yet, but that's fine. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. That's coming to a future podcast episode. Since I said that, she doesn't listen to me. It'll be fine.
It's all good.
You let me know what you need, and I will do my best to facilitate.
Yes, I know. No worries. Say hi to Blake for us, please.
Will do.
Yes. We loved Blake. Blake was awesome.
He was.
Blake is good people.
Yeah, the only thing we had that was critical was Eric said that the tears during the funeral were a little sparse. He wanted a little more conviction of the tears, but you know.
It seemed a bit inauthentic. It seemed like it was not a great loss to the wife there.
It's kind of like, you know, when you go to class and you just sit there and you're not really paying attention, you know, you're technically doing what you're supposed to do, but you're not really with the, you know.
Yeah. It was all done on the fly, and I think that sealed the deal for us for the trophy.
There's 2 videos that I've seen of that so far, and in both of the videos you can see like one of the judges in the background is losing it. So
yeah.
Well, and then we got Blake in the picture that Lemons had posted. And he is in full shot holding on to that right at his chest with a sad face. And it's out for all to see. Jennifer's there she's biting back a laugh, and you see the judges behind her. One of them is like literally covering her mouth. She's laughing so hard.
Is that on the Lemons page or no?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll
know.
get a picture and we'll send it over.
Oh, please.
I'm sure we posted it at least once. We'll do it again because, we don't get charged for posts, so we put them all up.
The only picture that stands out was Iceman and that lady, that Blake lady.
The video. Yeah.
Posing together.
That was a good one. I think our theme game was strong. Next time we'll have our cars together and our driving game will be strong.
Nice.
We'll get there. Thank you, Brad.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.